I believe in angels, and I believe in you. I believe in the simple things and everything you do. I believe in the heavens above, and I believe in truth. I believe in the love we have, because I believe in you. So tell me, do you feel the way that I feel? Then tell me, would you give what I'm willing to give? I believe in honesty, and I believe it's true, and I believe if you set it free, it will come back to you. And I believe that things were meant to really be, and I believe in the love we have, because I believe in you.
All right, this is ICureCancer.com. This is Ian Jacklin, and I believe I have my beautiful guest host, J. Cynthia Brooks, with me today. Are you there, Cynthia?
Yeah, I am. How's it going?
Very good, Cynthia. Very good. Nice to have you here. And we have our other friend. It's James, right? James Freeland. You're working with us today, James?
Yeah. Hi, guys. James Freeland. JJ Inc. is what they sort of is the handle I've been given here in the internet. And I do a show called Against the Wall, sort of on hiatus right now. I've been really, really busy getting back to work and things up here in New York. But,
right
it's a pleasure to be with you guys today.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us, because again, I'm going to cut out early again, but I'll leave you guys to hang. But you reminded me right before this show that you are educated in making medicine, medical marijuana medicine. I forgot about that, man.
Yeah. Well, a few years ago, I saw a run from The Cure maybe like 5 years ago, the Ricky Simpson movie. It sort of went viral. I watched that. I mean, mind you, every person in my life who I've ever loved who's died, my grandma, my grandpa, my aunt, my mom, have all died from cancer horribly, not peacefully either, going through, they find out they have cancer, then, for the next few months, they get all the cancer, treatments at the hospital, they gut them on the inside, take out half their organs. So, when I saw that, movie, the Ricky Simpson movie, it really made me wonder, and I realized that cannabis oil, that the Ricky Simpson oil, high grade indica extract, isn't the only way, but it is a very good way to. It's a good way with the massive amounts, say 60 to 70 grams in under 3 months, as much as you can possibly take. And the one thing I know, because from being a recreational smoker, is that you build up a tolerance to where, the more you use it, you can start out with small amounts until you've built up enough of a tolerance that it doesn't hurt you. But then on top of that, what you're doing is you're triggering the cannabinoid, the endocannabinoid system in your body, for one, it surrounds the cells. It surrounds the cancer cells, helps to keep them from growing and metastasizing and spreading. But it also triggers the end of the cycle instinct, chemically in them, so that they, essentially they die, they go away. And then when you couple that with, if you had terminal cancer, right, and it came down to, you're going to die, this is one thing that you can do. But on top of that, you have to change your lifestyle. You've given yourself terminal cancer, and a lot of it's probably going to have to do with your diet and with your lifestyle. So if you want to live, it's a great way to start, because I just would rather do that than go in and get radiated or chemo and then have it not work anyways, and then have a horrible quality of life while this is all going on.
On that note as well, I don't think we are supposed to say the product name on air, so I won't. But that new company that's only putting out high CBDs, one of my dear friends is using it, and she and a lot of people she knows do not like THC. She just started using it, and she thinks it's really working. So far,
For
so
terminal
good.
cancer?
No, hers
Okay.
is for not for cancer, but other body ailments.
I'm absolutely not to cut you off. I'm absolutely all for the high CBD because face it, most of the diseases other than the terminal sort, the CBDs can help with. You need the THC and those things for terminal cancers, for the actual killing of the cancer cells. But I have seen it work wonders. The high CBD with a very low psychoactive effects work great on people with MS, polio, lupus, things that lock your arms, and epilepsy. It's well known. So yeah, I'm all for it. But the one thing I don't want is the breeding out of cannabis with THC with the miracle.
Yeah,
I don't think that's
that'll
ever going to happen.
I hope not. I mean, there's such a recreational market out there, but
Yeah, but good point in bringing that up, because it's a catch-22 situation with the CBD, the high CBD oil coming out, because it's wonderful because now everybody knows that there's something called CBD and they think it may have something to do with marijuana, but they're not sure. So, I mean, the point is their consciousness has been awakened a little bit, and they at least they have the word or the letters CBD in their vocabulary, which hopefully that means pretty soon they'll learn what THC is, and they'll realize the whole cannabinoidal system is in their body, that's what's going to help them live longer with less pain. The kind with the THC is the one that kills the cancer. The kind with the high CBDs is the better for the seizures. And I believe they're both good for
and pain management.
Yeah, I was going to say
it's awesome that it's out there in the vocabulary, and it absolutely should be available. You should be able to get this oil, to probably be making edibles with it.
Yeah, that's the point, is this company, it's just high CBD, no THC, and it's legal.
Right, and the strains are growing. There's a growing number of different strains now that people are breeding and growing that actually have, the higher.
And also this woman that I'm referring to, she has tremendous body pain, and she has vertigo, and she has to walk with a cane. So her message was, the last thing I need is THC making me dizzier, and whatnot.
Amen.
So,
Amen.
Exactly. And plus she just doesn't I don't either. A lot of people don't like the high, period.
Some people juice it.
Yeah.
And I've heard they have amazing health effects juicing.
The only thing
with
that
very little psychoactive.
Yeah, because when you juice it, you don't decarboxylate it.
Absolutely.
And that's sort of the thing, is when you decarboxylate it, that's means it'll get you high. And that's when it works. So, but again, we're two different things here. For cancer, you want to go high THC, but
indica strain.
If you can make you sleepy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I don't mean to play the devil's advocate here. I'm just saying that I think and you guys know much more than I do, but what I'm reading is we still have some scientists disagreeing on the THC.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So I think the jury is still kind of out.
And it's not just THC and CBD. Now, some of the research that I've read say that there's up to 27 active ingredients in the cannabis plant that are geared towards or affect cancer cells.
Right.
So you need them all.
Yeah.
Right.
And before Ian jumps out, because Ian has to leave early today, and so I suggested, because people are always emailing me questions and whatnot, and one in particular was, Ian, I just wanted to know what your beat on curing Lyme's disease is the MMS, does that cure Lyme's disease?
If the Lyme disease, it's been a while since I've had to think about Lyme disease. My one friend has that and cancer, and if it is a pathogen, if Lyme's disease is a pathogen, then yeah, MMS, anything that kills pathogens, I would go with the what used to be called IV7 or Pure Bio. Now is the company that made the IV7. But yeah, it's
Pure Bio.
Or BioPure. I can send you the the link later, but it's the most powerful antibiotic on the planet that I know of that's natural. They sell it as a cleaner. It's actually like a bathroom cleaner, floor cleaner, whatever, kitchen cleaner. Because they don't even want to bother with the FDA and all the BS that goes along with that. So they just made a great cleaner that kills all pathogens. As it turns out, you can drink it and it'll kill all the pathogens in your system. I know this because I got inside friends. And so that's what I do. Whenever I get sick, instead of taking antibiotics for my chest infection, I get usually once a year, I take this BioPure, Pure Bio, whatever it's called. I should have that up on my screen somewhere. But anyway, yeah, I would, for the Lyme disease, you got to kill the pathogens. From what I understand, it's been a while since I looked into that one.
Well, also another for the people who are going to listening now or are going to listen later to the archive. Also, there is a powerful combination. Oddly enough, one of my teachers, one of the best mental mediums, Brian Hurst. He taught James von Prague and all of the big mediums that are on television today. He's their teacher and mine as well. And he was in India and contracted Lyme's disease. And he got lucky and I know this is controversial, but just stay with me on this because the cure worked. He went and saw Sai Baba. And this was like years and years ago because some of the Sai Baba people say that Sai Baba was one and then his spirit left his body and another Sai Baba came in and he was more the trickster and just doing magic tricks and all that just to educate you. That's why it's controversial, but it doesn't matter. Sai Baba told him to do a mixture of juicing aloe vera, some lemon juice, and a good dose of garlic and drink it 3 times a day. And Brian Hurst did it and his Lyme's disease went away and he doesn't have it anymore. So there's another cure for you.
Oh, wow. Right on. Well, I just posted the what I was talking about there on the in my I Cure Cancer chat room, whatever it's called, where we post the events. So if anybody's interested in that, you can check that out.
So is it Pure Bio or BioPure?
It's Pure Bio, yeah.
Okay.
Purebio.com is the website. Again, they sell it as a cleaner, so don't be surprised when you see that. But I've been drinking it for a couple of years now, and instead of being on antibiotics for 2 weeks to get rid of my chest infections, I'm on them for 2 or 3 days. And it's not really an antibiotic; it's this product. I don't take antibiotics anymore. I take this floor cleaner instead, because it gets rid of all pathogens. So that's one way to go. And on that note, I'm going to let you guys finish off. Thank you so much for handling the show for me, people. And I'll catch you all next week. All right.
All right.
Okay.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure. One of these days I'd like to come on and, do a show with you guys. But,
we're
today
going to, now that I totally forgot that you know all about growing the medicine. So and I know about freedom. We supposedly live in a free land and a free world, and right.
That means the freedom to be able to choose what you put in your body nutritionally.
Yeah, we'll have a good show. We'll definitely set something up, man. All right, guys. Have a good Saturday, and I'll catch you later.
Bye, Ian.
Bye now.
So one of the other questions that I wanted to talk about a cure for that was sent to me was asthma, and particularly childhood asthma. And I want to address that because I've had a tremendous success with 2 different products. Again, I don't know that Ian wants me to name this specific product, but I can post it on Facebook and on UCY TV and whatnot. But this company, what they do, this is fascinating, James. I think you'll love this. And you probably already know about it, but what this company does is they make all kinds of water purifiers, air purifiers. And there's a couple of them out there, but this one was the one that was on Dateline. It was on ABC News, all the news channels. It's called a personal air purifier, and it's a little tiny box about 4 inches by 3 inches, and you wear it around your neck. And what this does is because the atoms that it emits are so small that it kills a lot of viruses. And even on Dateline, it showed in the Petri dishes that this was killing back then when there was the swine flu. It was killing the swine flu. And so it's an amazing product, and I've I've introduced to many asthmatics this, and their asthma is gone down like 90%. And this is the part that you're going to get mad about, James. So it's what this emits is a particular combination of ozone and a couple of other different things and ionization and whatnot. Right. So if it's small enough to be able to kill a virus. It's certainly, small enough to be able to grab and kill all of the things, the outside things that.
Yeah, my wife has asthma.
Oh, good. This is for her then. So, it kills, of course it can kill like pollen, which is much bigger than, the size of a virus. Any, particles out there that are causing, and it helps, I've actually with my friends saw it relieve a migraine headache in about 10 minutes. I just had him like breathe it right into his nose. So what it's doing is completely purifying the air around you, the space of your aura. So, it's been tremendous. I have won tremendous results with this. And the part that's going to make you mad, James, is that if you want to order this, and again, I can put the link up, if you're in California, you can't get it anymore. The state of California, and the company is in South Carolina, so they don't want to break the law and ship to California. So you need to find an out of state friend, have it shipped there, and then have them ship it to you. And the reason being is that I don't know if you've heard a lot about lung cancer patients going into ozone tanks and having tremendous results and sometimes 100% recovery.
Sure.
But yeah. Well, the state of California decided, on a lark that ozone is bad for you. So it's illegal here to have ozone devices now. I mean, yeah, it's crazy.
Here's one of the things that I believe is, first of all, if you have, if you're ill and you think like, for instance, you're going to get this ozone cleaner, but then you're still going to, resume all the, I encourage people to look at their lifestyle and the things that they eat and the things that they're doing. And, because that's like saying, I've got terminal cancer and somebody made me this oil, but I'm going to continue to wolf down a bag of Oreo cookies every night. And, you've got to learn about what is wrong with you, what ails you. And the thing of it is the doctors, when you hide your symptoms, you're not getting healthy. And so not with the air, ionizer. I'm all for,
yeah, and just to piggyback on that, what I did is I used a combination because I had a little kitty who developed asthma out of nowhere. And I had a brilliant, and I'd love to shout out to her, Dr. Scanlon. She lectures all over the world. She's in all these books. She was both Eastern and Western, veterinarian and doing acupuncture and whatnot. And, she recommended to me, there's another, it's a homeopathy and it's called Tardifedrol. And it's spelled as it sounds, Tardifedrol, except for the F sounding, it's PH, Tardifedrol. And, it's a simple homeopathy. It's not crazy popular, but you can go to your local, health food store or whatnot and ask them, because I did that here in LA. A particular store that I liked very much. And I asked them, will you special order this for my asthma patients? And they were like, absolutely. And so the combination of the air purifier and the homeopathy, and the homeopathy is very inexpensive, you know what I mean? As everybody knows, I think it's under $10. The combination of the two works wonders. There were some times when my kitty did not want to use the air or wanted the air purifier around her. So I just kept her on the Tardifedrol, and I would say her asthma went down about 95%. Rarely did I have any kind of asthma attack with her. I never had to use her kitty inhaler. So the combination of the two are really powerful, and I strongly suggest them to all my asthmatics out there asking me.
Oh, yeah, I've got 7 cats myself.
Oh, do you?
Yes. I sort of got stuck with a few of them, but I have cats, and that's part of the reason that I had to start taking care of them a little bit better was you have to look at everything when you're trying to make yourself feel better and be healthier, and cat hair was horrible for asthma.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, well, if your wife got the air purifier, it wouldn't bother her at all, because
right.
those proteins and the cat hair, and people think when they're allergic to cats, they're allergic to the hair. They're actually not. They're allergic to the protein that the hair is emitting. Yeah, and I'm actually working on an invention to get a kind of air purifier that I plug into wall to absorb those proteins. I'm not 100% there yet, but I'm working on it. But for right now, that little personal air purifier. And there's bigger ones too. There's big ones.
We have a pretty large, we have a HEPA filter in our bedroom.
Right. Great.
And I don't
Does
do
that seem to help her?
Yeah. She hasn't, she has an inhaler she hasn't used in years. The only time we ever really need it is like if we go camping, but, no, we keep it. She's pretty much has it under control. She's out of the house all day and.
Good. Well, too, and just on that subject, because this is a really, really, really confusing subject for everyone, is there's a million different kinds of air purifiers out there, and some work and some just barely do anything but move the air around. But the reason I'm so pro on this company is because of the ozones and the ions and all of the other things, and because somehow they figured out with their air purifiers, again, to get that percentage down, the little particles to such a small degree that it can catch anything, including a virus. So, like I said, do the research and I can post and read and educate yourself, because there's no point in buying, some air purifier when it's really not helping. And just so, again, education is so much. By all means, air purifiers are not, the same, just like the controversy that's going around now with the water purifiers and, the other big companies and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
I want everybody to know that, there are many different products, and it does take, you have to do some research to figure out like what's going to really work and what's not. So good. Now we got asthma off the table.
Right. And it always comes back to look at your foods. I mean, I look at, I'm 45 and I look at when I was a kid, in the 70s, and, just a lot of the illnesses, there wasn't as much asthma around. Now maybe that's just because, social media and people are closer than they were. I just have to say it's the food, and I don't necessarily mean you have to buy all organic food, but you should stop. First of all, if it's not grown in your local area, then it's not in season. And for one, you have to look at your food and the way you're living. Asthma, the one thing that I noticed is, and even with myself, is certain foods make it harder to breathe. Plain and simple. I don't know how to explain it. And I just wish people would do a little more research into, just going out and just eating things out of a box and a can. It doesn't take much longer to cook a little bit of meat. What kind of foods do you eat?
Well, that was the whole point and for
anybody. Because I know that you have, you once had cancer, right?
Yeah, I was just going to say for anybody.
Diet, you probably had to change a lot of things in your lifestyle.
Well, yeah, I was diagnosed 17 years ago with cancer and was told that it, will be terminal, and that if I don't get chemosurgery and radiation within 2 years, I'd be dead. And I started doing the research on every level and decided to just go pure alternative medicine, and cured myself in 8 months and have been cancer free ever since. I didn't do, back then there was barely an internet. I got in a car and I had to travel from one
fax machine, right?
Yeah. One physicist to another. And what I did was I sort of assembled what I call my healing team, because this is the beauty of all of us being here in together on this beautiful planet, and co-creation at its best is because so many are very focused on just one area, not as focused on another area. And that's a good thing. So that's why I assembled a team, and I would cross-reference all of the information that they were giving me. For example, one physicist, was very, very familiar and dealt with Rife machines all the time. And yet another one, not a physicist.
Did you try Rife?
Oh yeah, I used it.
Did you? Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
I've heard, I mean, being in the alternative part of the, of the media, that's one of the things that I've always wondered. I mean, you can only read, so many testimonials. You just have to ask if it really works. But I know people that swear by Rife technology.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That's the thing too, is that if somebody is in stage 4 and getting, diagnoses of like weeks to live, that would be the first go-to for me is, a Rife machine, because the results it works so fast. And just very briefly, I'll just tell you that, and now be careful with them now, because there's billions of Rife machines again online. And
it's the same thing with oil. There's a lot of oil out there, but if you don't know what they started with, you don't know what you're getting.
Right. So if anybody is wanting more information, again, we can post this. There's someone here in California we know that really makes fantastic machines, Rife machines. And the thing that a lot of people don't know about the Rife machine, Royal Rife invented it, and a lot of people think, real quick, one of his greatest inventions was not the Rife machine, but what it was the light microscope, not electronic, but a high magnification of 20,000 light microscope. And it's an icky analogy, but it's been said that with electronic microscopes, you're killing the organism. So it's very much like, this is back in the 30s. It was very much like picking up a dead dog off the side of the road and trying to decipher what its personality was. Well, and Royal Rife knew this, so he created the light microscope that did not kill the organism. Here we go, folks. And what he realized was that a cancer cell is a different color than a healthy cell.
Right.
And that's very important because color is frequency. So he developed a machine that emits a frequency. Now let's just say that it's what chemo wishes it could be and will never do. But so he developed a machine that emanated a frequency, and let's just say the cancer cell is blue and there's a healthy cell is pink sitting right next to it. It emits a blue frequency, so that blue cancer cell is going to be killed, but the one sitting right next to it, the healthy cell, it's going to be fine because it's a different frequency. It remains, untouched.
Right.
And so that's just the very basic of the Rife machine. And again, like I said, it works very, very quickly as well. And what happened was, this is when the Mayo Clinic was starting to get rocking and rolling and getting its financing by you know who.
Right.
And they had 200 patients, cancer patients, that they couldn't help anymore. They were just absolutely terminal. They gave them to Royal Rife before they realized how powerful, his work was going to be. They gave them to Royal. He treated them with Rife machines, and all of them, they had like 2 weeks to live, and all of them went 100% cure.
Right. And mind you, it didn't cost $100,000 a session.
No. Yeah,
Right.
That too.
Have you ever heard of bioacoustic, like bioacoustic medicine or bioacoustic health? I've got a friend that runs a clinic, and they use sound.
Yeah.
On certain frequencies. I mean, all things are waves. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
Even on a quantum level, you have waves and particles, but there are even smaller things that are both a wave and a particle, or however you want to describe it.
That's
a
really
photon,
it.
I think, maybe.
Yeah, that's definitely the future. Is frequency work is the future. And I studied with a physicist who was supposed to be nominated for a Nobel Prize, but he was so controversial they didn't want to do it. And he back then, this was like 15 years ago, back then, he was bringing forth work with lasers and crystals, shooting the laser into the crystal, and it emits these certain frequencies, and all kinds of, you can do all kinds of things with that. But definitely it's the frequency work. And but if you want to, because you've been talking a great deal about lifestyle, and that's what I realized is that taking this, even to the farther into the future, is that just the way you live your life, the frequency that you're on, that's an unhealthy frequency.
Yeah.
And you can think about frequency or vibration. So, and a lot of times maybe cancer, doesn't have to be maybe the people around you, because you have to look at the whole picture. You have to look at your life environment, how you're treating yourself, the thoughts that you're thinking, down to your job, down to your family, down to the food you're eating and whatnot. Now, many times what I've seen over the past 16 years is that, the frequency can be so tricky. You can just be madly in love with your husband or wife and love your children, and it's very healthy and very functional, but there is a thought process. There's a thought form in that family that our family dies from cancer. We are vulnerable to cancer. It can be as simple as that. And we've got other physicists now and scientists talking about forget everything you know about DNA, forget everything that they're telling you, to forget everything that you're predisposed to cancer, because our research is contradicting all of that. So there's that going on as well. So just know that,
it's the entire,
It could be the power
Everything
of
from our
suggestion.
food to the things that we wear to the clothes that we put on to the beds we sleep on are all some sort of like petrochemical derivative. I mean, it's cancer's on the rise, and there's a reason for it. It's our lifestyles as, you know, as modern Americans or even modern humans. But you go to places like, Southeast Asia, they have very little cancer. They live different.
Well, on that note, also, you know, this is certainly up for discussion, but I do have a theory as well, is that, for example, at the turn of the century, just about the whole population was smoking. The rate of lung cancer was 3%. Now everybody's quit, and the lung cancer is up beyond 50%. And so then the scientists and, you know, whatnot, then they studied, Mexico. Nobody has lung cancer in Mexico. It must be a heavy carb and perhaps that, you know, heavy carb, heavy protein diet. Well, no, then because they did a study in Japan, the very little lung cancer, everybody's smoking their brains out. Maybe it's a high protein or something. But then they go over to South Africa, their diet's completely, and everybody was still smoking at this time. So what it is, part of it, I believe, is all of this power of suggestion out there about cancer. You know,
Yeah.
So, and I don't know, you know, perhaps some very clever people know about this and keep putting it out there, or perhaps it happened by accident or both.
It's
but
a science, dear.
You can't.
Edward Bernays created the science of public relations, and it's basically called propaganda. If we were in the Soviet Union, and sure,
Yeah.
sure, he could make millions of women, you know, hundreds of thousands of women in America want to smoke cigarettes as a symbol of their freedom from their, you know, oppressive life. I mean, that's a brain job and our whole way of life.
Yeah, it really is. And especially now, that was one of the things is, before I even knew I had cancer, but I was sick at that time, I went into the Essenes Seminary. I entered that. The Essenes, who wrote the Dead Sea Scrolls, Jesus Christ was an Essene. I know you know that. I was just kind of putting it out there for the listeners and whatnot. So what they have done is they've held on to the doctrines and the techniques that Jesus Christ and all of the Essenes, most of them, not all of those healing techniques, which is all about looking at frequency and watching, learning how to open up the sixth chakra, knowing how to move energy around. And the only reason I entered it, because I was a complete atheist at the time, is that I had migraines, which is one more topic I want to get to if we get a chance.
I would love to, because I get migraines.
Okay, you're going to love this then. So I got, in my early 20s, I got horrible migraines to the point where even if I was taking, back then they gave you the painkiller codeine. Even if I was taking codeine, I was in so much pain, I'd almost start to lose my speech. And I know listening to me now jabber on would be like, maybe it was a blessing. I don't know.
No, absolutely not.
I joke. So, I, oddly enough, like I said, I was going to these group sessions once a month with Brian Hurst, the medium that I was talking about, and then another wonderful angel, Brian Bensford, approached me, and he was like, and you know, things were just going so awful in my life, nothing was going right. He saw some stuff in my aura, and he was like, hey, why don't you go take this class? It's just a one-day thing. So I did. I went. And I was kind of sitting in the back waiting to make the teacher, and the teacher is Reverend Lynn. And I was sitting angry with my arms folded in the back of the class waiting to prove her wrong. And she said, the first thing she opened with is everyone in agreement with Einstein that like matter attracts like matter and everything is energy? And we're like, yeah. So she goes, this is not what you think. This is basically a physics class. And I knew my physics. For whatever reason, I excelled in that area. So I was so ready to prove her wrong, and she was dead on about everything. So I'm like, threw my arms up, and I was like, okay, lady, I'll let you talk and I'll listen. And still in immense pain. And about half hour into it, then she taught us this basic 5-minute meditation. And I did it, and it's visualizing. It's nothing like the Abraham meditation. It's not like the Buddhist meditation. It's very different. And within 5 minutes, my headache was like 90% gone. Yeah. So I was like, okay, there's something to this. And so I decided to start taking the first class, because that was just a one-day seminar. The first class was, beginner's meditation. And as I got more into it, and then meditation 2, meditation 3, and then self-healing, and then hands-on healing, and I just went on and I went through the whole program. So, and that was all learning about frequency and energy and matter, atomic particles, subatomic particles, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But like I said, because I had those quick results with that migraine, there was no denying it. It was right for me. Maybe not other people, but it was definitely right for me, that meditation. Someday also, I'm more than happy to give out that meditation on air. We'd have to see how Ian would feel about it, but I'm more than happy to do that 5-minute meditation in another show. So to the migraines, also what I did was I say, like, there's internal work you can do, like meditation. There's also external work that you can do, like everything else that James is talking about. But here's a quick fix that worked for me a lot. It works for an awful lot of people. Up there in like the 80 percentile, this works for the migraine, is try to get your stomach as empty as possible.
Oh, that's not a problem.
Right. Okay.
Within they're so bad that I empty my stomach immediately. I mean, they get really bad.
Right. Good. I totally understand. I stumbled upon this by accident. And, so what you want to do, it's just a combination of, and it just works for the migraine. It's not the healthiest thing in the world, but when you're in that kind of pain, you try whatever works.
I like to say 99% of my life, putting my head underneath the wheels of an 18-wheeler doesn't seem rational, but in the middle of one of these headaches when I'm sitting by the toilet, that just, you know what I mean? It doesn't seem as irrational.
Right,
I call them suicide headaches. They hurt really, really bad.
Well, okay.
Not that I'm suicidal, and I would never do it. I don't have them that often. I think they're caffeine related, actually.
So what you want to do is, empty stomach as much as possible. And then it's a simple combination, and variations on this don't work as well. So stick to this little recipe. It's white rice, full sodium soy sauce, as much as you can get on there, and sparkling water. And just eat it slowly, and just try to get down what you can, and you'll see your migraine starting to lift. And it was interesting because I just by accident stumbled upon that. And a few years later, my mother called me. She goes, they're doing all this research now on, soy and migraines. And I was like, doesn't surprise me. So it was pretty interesting that there's a lot of research going on there. But also what I want to talk about on an energy level, this has been 100%, in 16 years of my migraine people, and me as well. So you're going to do the outside thing, the inside thing. Now I want to set this up. First, let me preface this. You can have the sweetest parents ever. And for whatever reason, naturally, the parents can very much easily and intuitively meet the needs of one child, but another child comes along, and for some reason that is off, and the child is not getting what they desire and need. That was the same thing in my family. My sister never got a migraine, slight headaches ever. So what I've seen on an energy level, and everybody brace yourself because I know this is a little tough, a tough subject, but it will help you tremendously, is that so far in my research, without exception, on an energy level, what that migraine is about is rage or extreme anger towards the mother. I don't know if you want to say anything, James, if you ever had conflicts with your mother or not.
Oh, yeah. I mean, who really hasn't?
Well, yeah. There you go. Everybody has to a certain degree.
My mom might even be in the chat room right now.
Right. And
she listens to these shows.
Yeah, I don't mean to offend any mothers out there. That's why I prefaced it. It doesn't, and it's just the life path of the child. And it's all good. And, even if the child is not getting what it needs, it's still a good thing, because what that child is doing is emitting huge rockets of desire. And that's always a good thing, and more clarity. I'm only saying this for healing purposes. And many times you have a child with migraines and the mother had the migraines. So it's really worth taking a look at. There's no blame here. I'm saying this in absolute and pure love.
Sure.
And in healing purposes. And just, mothers, I love them. They work so hard. I don't have children. I don't know how they do it. It's just so much. And I don't think you ever really, that's life experience. I will really never know how much a mother does for me, my mother did for me, and how much you do and how hard you work unless you have one of your own, Yeah. So that's life experience. They say that there are no real human teachers. We're just stimulators of thought. There's only one teacher, and that's life experience. So but even for the mothers who they have migraines and their child has migraines, it's worth taking a look at to break that chain.
Sure.
Because most of us, especially in American culture, we really don't take a look at the way we interact and the things that we do. We just pick up those habits from our parents and their parents and their parents and their parents. And the truth of the matter is that we are not our habits. We are pure positive energy. We're beings in a body, and it's pure positive energy. And so a lot of times I'm working with now a Healy, actually, that it's very interesting that we're going back generations to break a pattern and an emotional pattern that doesn't serve. And so this is really all okay. But again, like I said, worth taking a look at to see if it brings any kind of relief.
Sure. Absolutely. Well, it is scientific that trauma is a great way to to bring about behaviors.
Right.
And it's been used by the CIA. It's used by
absolutely
intelligence apparatus daily.
Yeah. It is a science. And what's really interesting is that also things like which the Essenes tap into a great deal is about your thoughts and the thought forms and whatnot. What's so much fun is how far technology's coming along now. Einstein actually commented that people were joking and making fun of the fact that a lot of people thought that we had auras. And he had commented that when they developed a camera that could photograph them, he goes, it kind of put all the naysayers, silenced. So, the scientists are developing more and more interesting tools to look, measure, whatnot. And one of the, Spiritually Speaking Live, which is no longer, but I was a co-host on that as well. One of my favorite guests, and I called him the brain expert. He was very much science. So he had said now that they have a way of not photographing, but measuring thought forms. That thought forms actually have weight, and they've really figured out a way to do that more with light and sound than anything else. But what he brought up, the point that he brought up that's very important is that if this thought form has weight, it means it has mass, and mass attracts. And so that's another one that the Essenes are very big on, and we're very big on cleaning out auras and cleaning out chakras, is because you can have a thought form sitting there. It can be somewhat dormant, but it's sitting there and it is attracting. So it's good to know that, any old thought forms can still be sitting around. It's sitting in your aura, sitting in other people's auras and whatnot. It's always a very good thing to try to clean those out, which is some great techniques that the Essenes have attacked. And it's just fun now that we're able to measure them and know that they exist. And it doesn't sound like mumbo jumbo.
No, it doesn't. L. Ron Hubbard called them engrams, I believe.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, oddly enough, the Scientologists have some spectacular machines about weighing and measuring.
I read Dianetics. Was one of the longer books that I've ever read.
Yeah, it is.
But I just remember back now. I mean, I'm not going to make any opinions on Scientology or anything like that. But when I read Dianetics, I was locked up. I was in prison, and it really helped me as far as not as far as being able to relax myself, as you were talking about, because some of the methods in the book were deep relaxation and
some of their techniques. Yeah, some of their techniques are through the roof and really, really, really work. And just, there's great Catholics and then not so great Catholics. There's great Scientologists and then not so great Scientologists. But I gotta say, L. Ron Hubbard,
separate the church from Dianetics. You can do that.
Yeah.
The Dianetics, the book, if you read that book, then you and a friend, or you could by yourself or a loved one can sort of, and it's the same thing as, regressive hypnosis. You can do these things. You don't have to belong to a church. You don't have to pledge your income. You can do this. It's, I will tell you, it's about 1,500 pages, but, I found it fascinating myself. But that was my introduction to what I would call like self-hypnosis or deep relaxation.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, it's really great because if anyone has a little bit of
it gets easier to do the more you do it, right?
Absolutely. Just like going to the gym, everything, just practice. And it is a great intro, because if you have resistance, because Ian always jokes about spiritual and all that stuff, even though he's come such a long way. But that's okay. If you have resistance to that sort of thing, then Dianetics is a great way, because it comes from pure science.
Well, he trains, so I'm sure he does a little visualization and things like that.
He's great now.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. Well, Ian, I don't know if you know this. When Ian found out that I cured myself of cancer, and he was in complete, opposition to it, that's impossible, you can't do that. But he was curious. So he's like, will you take me to some of these places where you cured yourself? So I said, sure. So I took him to all. I took him to the physicist. I took him to the microscopist. But I also took him to the Essene Seminary in Reverend Lynn. And he took the classes. He took the meditation classes. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right,
definitely. Right. I can't remember if he made it into healing. We'll have to ask him about that. But I do know that he took meditation 1 and 2. He went to a number of, because they don't just have all these different classes. They also
if you live a healthy lifestyle and you know how to relax deeply, you can tell that he is healthy.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's
absolutely.
because of all those reasons. Sure.
Definitely.
Sure.
Yeah. It always is. It always is mind, body, and spirit. And, that's what I knew. And so I had to address all 3 of those. And my lifestyle and, where I was heading in my future and all of those things. So, but it really, seeing technology too really comes from a very technological standpoint. You'd be surprised, that if you're someone who thinks science is one thing, spirituality is another, which it's not. It's all the same.
Yeah.
But
I'm coming to the belief that, depending on what you consider science, I mean, a lot of things out there I don't consider science, but I agree with you. And spiritually, is the best, is the thing to do, is to try to clean yourself, to be spiritually clean and confident.
Right.
You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. And I'm not talking about being religious. I just mean, spending some time you've got to be honest with yourself. And I think that probably right there, is, even without meditating, once you can be honest with yourself about what you are and what you've done and, what you hope to accomplish, you're on your way to being spiritually healthy.
Oh, absolutely. But I just want to, just one little thing there. The tough one on this one is self-honesty without self-blame or self-criticism.
Right.
That's the key. And that is, so many people do not want to go back to self. And there's all this resistance about taking a look.
Well, you're beautiful. I mean, that's what I don't get is what, people look at themselves and they think that they're dirty and they've done, I look at people, including myself, and think what a beautiful, you just have to think about it on a molecular level, on a cellular level, on a macrobiotic, on a microbiotic level. We are amazing.
Yes. In every way, shape, and form. Absolutely. Well, again, and just know that, a lot of, we have been programmed and taught self-criticism,
sure.
Self-doubt,
Oh,
so
don't I know it? When I was 13, I was sent to foster care. I was considered, troubled youth, delinquent, all that. And, I'll be honest with you, until I was about 30, I just thought there was, I had a fundamental flaw. Hey, there's something wrong with me. I'm just always going to be in trouble and blah, blah, blah. Obviously it's been like 15 years. I quit drinking. It's not true. There wasn't anything wrong with me. I got put into a system that just perpetuated this, you've been bad. You're being punished. There's something wrong with you, seeing doctors and evaluations and taking different drugs that they tried to put me on. And, what it really just turned out to be was, I was in that system and they had me believing that till I was about, like I said, about 30. I quit drinking. I got married. I'd known my wife for years and years and years, and we decided to get married and, had some kids. And hey, I'm pretty comfortable now. And that's because I realized that there wasn't something wrong with me. There was something wrong with the system.
Yeah, and society. That's called societal control.
Yeah.
That's what that's about. Because really, I don't know, James, but what I'm thinking is you are getting punished for doing the right thing. Meaning, we are freedom-seeking beings. That's the nature and the core of who we are. We seek freedom.
Well, I didn't like to be told what to do.
Exactly. That's where I'm going with this. Yeah. I'm doing a little mini reading on you.
Yeah.
So you were, and what we consider in my philosophy, we consider you a great leader and a great teacher because you refused to be controlled. Freedom seeking being, you in particular, an extreme desire for your freedom. You're born into, quote, a system, and I mean that on every level of control. Yeah, that's not going to harmonize. There was no breaking you. And that's wonderful. You were being more pure to spirit than someone who is allowing themselves to be controlled. Now, before anybody starts yelling at me, the point is that when you are completely aligned with who you truly are and completely in self-love and self-validation, you don't want to, it's beyond imagination to harm another.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's what the problem, that's where we as society have gotten like that. That's the bugaboo.
And most of the reason that I might harm somebody, like to protect my, my family or my kids, is out of fear. And, that's probably something that I could work on. But.
Oh, absolutely. Well, you can get you just keep thinking those positive thoughts. You'll get yourself on such a frequency, a high frequency, that they won't come near you.
Well, you made a new best friend, Cynthia. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. It was so funny because, I'm a big studier of Abraham and what the Abraham Hicks teachings. And one time Jerry, who is Esther's wife, he had said to Abraham, he goes, Abraham, I think what we should have in this world is all these different islands, and the rapists can all be on their same island and just rape one another, and the robbers can be on their own island and rob one another, and the nice people can be on another island and all love each other. And Abraham's answer to that was, you already have those islands. They're frequency islands. They're vibrational frequency islands.
Sure.
And I've seen it in my own life.
Well, sociopaths flock together. They attract each other on every level, and every economic level, every societal level.
Yeah.
It's true. Absolutely. It's scientific.
Absolutely. And so if you just keep raising your vibration, meaning more self-love, more self-appreciation, you're going to do what's called a set point. Your set point is going to rise. And so those people who want to harm you, they just don't have access to you. And I've seen this again and again and again. Even like someone who doesn't know they're doing it. I'm living here in Hollywood right now, and right in the heart of it, right around the corner from, where they have the Oscars and whatnot. This is such a multicultural area, a lot of, Eastern Europeans and whatnot. And, there's this one particular woman here that I just adore. Now she's from India, and, little tiny thing. And there just happened to be a conversation, and she walks anywhere in India, anywhere she wants, anywhere in Hollywood, the worst parts of town, anywhere, is never bothered. Her belief system is, and some other people were commenting that though they had gotten mugged in that area or this bad thing, she's been to those areas, never happened. Only because, and I'm not saying that she gives herself, this is a belief system at work, is she's like, I don't fear anything. I don't fear them. If I see someone I don't like, I look them right in the eye and they leave me alone. They don't even look at me. So just coming from that point of view, the point being is that you just, stay with your positive thought and let law of attraction take care of the rest.
I have that. Alcohol hit it, but I had it.
What's that?
I said I have that too. Alcohol hit it, but I have that. I can go anywhere. Nobody bothers me because I don't bother anyone else. And there
you go.
And I'm friendly, and you know what I mean? I'm one of those. Yeah. I just say, listen, you can't see beauty, or peace or happiness if you're afraid to be, peaceful or happy or beautiful. And, I've really changed. And it's all because, and I'll let you in on the listening audience for this show are all sort of on the same level. You're not hitting your mainstream, average American audience right now. We're a group of people that have already come to a lot of these same conclusions, and
like matter again.
yeah. And that's the beauty of this genre of media is I've just been, in the last, say, 8 years, I thought I did a 180 and became a completely new person when I quit drinking, which is true. But since I've become involved in the hemp and cannabis culture, in the, alternative medicine and the alternative news and things like that, I've just become just such another completely different person.
Oh yeah, you'll continue to do so, especially because you've kind of reached the level of self-awareness, and what's going to continue to happen is your expansion. That's what you're feeling. That's what you're seeing in your own life. That's what you're seeing in yourself. And that's, a lot of them claim that's why we're here in the first place. We're here to expand. And that the universe, everything on every level is constant expansion. But as beings, definitely. I can look at your life, and you should write a book about your life, James, because I can look at your life and it makes total sense, and it's perfection. Everything you went through to me is perfection because you chose this life experience to be a great teacher.
Well, my kids are getting older. I have a couple of daughters and a grandson. And I'll be getting my youngest out of the house. Well, not out of the house, but she'll be, an adult soon. Never out of the house. I'm not one of those people.
Right.
I'll always have a room and a bed and for my family.
Right.
But you know what I mean. I'm getting to the point now where I can delve into some other things in my life, which is going to be
absolutely. Well, also the most important thing not the most important thing, but a very important thing that you're doing is you're teaching by example, not by your words.
That's what I'm trying to do. Absolutely.
Yeah. Again, because that's the best teacher. Again, the only teacher.
And because I was a bonehead and had people trying to tell me and force me, and that's not how we function.
Yeah, exactly. No, teach by example is always the best teaching
and with
modality.
Love and understanding and compassion and empathy.
Yes. Because that's who you
without
truly
a cost-effect analysis, a cost-benefit analysis on everything.
Yes, yeah. Because it's a match. It's a vibrational match because that's who you truly are. Meaning the energy inside our bodies that keeps these bodies going. Whatever you want to call it, spirit or soul or whatever you want to call it, it's a specific energy. And we have all these word labels that are never 100%. But for the energy that is who we truly are, the word label is pure positive energy. So, and it's even better than that, but we can't come up with better.
And once you start going that direction, it becomes so much easier. You only have so many years, regardless of what your philosophical views on life are, in this form where you have the ability to experience beauty and love and even anger and hate, it behooves me to spend my entire life miserable, dismal, dark, and we all have those moments where we are, and I hope everybody understands that masking that with pharmaceuticals isn't the answer. You just why live like that? Not that you don't have the right to, but it's just I've moved beyond that.
And
maybe it's because they forced me on Ritalin when I was a kid and I hated it.
Right. Well, and just know that, and I'm really still learning this more and more every day, that those dark, dismal moments, what those truly are, is an opportunity for clarity.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you look at it like that, the dark and dismal will dissipate much faster.
No, don't be afraid to let it out, I've made the comment that, after a good cry, man, everything looks crystal clear.
Yeah,
things look crystal clear when you wash your eyes out and your soul comes out.
Right. Well, also, if you're dark and dismal, depression is a big one. I work with a lot of people who are depressed. Really what that is deprivation.
Sure.
So you're in a moment in time that you are not receiving your desires. That's all that is. So then when you go back to, well, what were my desires? Whatever they were, the only reason we want those desires is because we believe in the having of them will feel better. Really,
sure.
Yeah, the point is feel better.
Cynthia,
we're out of time.
Yeah, this has been a pleasure. Thank you. It's been Ike Your Cancer. Cynthia, tell the folks goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody, and thank you so much, JJ, for all your help.
All right, same time, same place next week.
And I believe in you. I believe in the simple things and everything you do. I believe in the heavens above, and I believe in truth. I believe in the happy here because I believe in you.